Welcome to the Clubhouse with a review of the Bandai Entry Grade 1144 Strike Gundam, the highly anticipated follow-up to the masterpiece that is the Entry Grade RX-78. And just like that kit, Bandai is at its scummiest with how they're releasing this kit. Oh yes, let's do this once again. The Entry Grade Strike Gundam is slated for release in December, but Bandai learned the worst kind of lesson from last time and wised up because now they're selling the light package version first, because of course people really want to see the amazing engineering this time. So you don't get the actual box kit with all the weapons until January, which is sort of when this launches for real. In the meantime, the kit will be first available through the Gunpla 2021 Ichiban Kuchi raffle, so desperate people will draw and draw until they get one. One draw is 790 yen, the full box kit is 770 yen. You're probably not going to get this kit in one draw. On the other hand, Bandai is partnering with Heart, their confectionery company, once again, to bundle their kit with the round box with Gunpla bucket that has corn snacks and costs 1,650 yen. That'll come in October to not collide with the raffle. That's the situation so far. By the time you see this, there might be other stuff that popped up. When Bandai isn't making baffling business decisions, they're being huge dicks like this to exploit fans. Sadly, with this kit, it's kind of the same. I mean, maybe it's a little less terrible than last time. Oh, and this is a triple review and goes along with the review of the high-grade Perfect Strike Gundam and also review of the HGCE Renewed Strike Gundam. So make sure to go check those out with the links in the description below. Anyway, now you know why I have my hands on this kit a good 2 months ahead of the first retail release. The Entry Grade 1144 Strike Gundam Solid Clear version was released on September 25th, 2021, and as previously said, it is a part of the Gunpla 2021 Ichiban Kuchi raffle that costs 790 yen per draw. The package is a bag, just like the light package is gonna be, and there's no illustration used on the bag. Here's a look behind the bag with 4 major boasting points: that the runner layout is very friendly, the touch gates let you assemble the kits without any tools, the crazy color separation means the kit doesn't need stickers, and then lastly, the kit has really good articulation. Inside the bag, we get this clear runner that's slightly milky white, standing in for the white parts. This is 4 smaller runners all molded together as this one big piece. Then we get this multicolored runner that's 2 smaller runners combined. And here the solid blue is replaced with the clear blue. Then we have one more runner, and this is combined from 2 smaller runners, which will look like this if you pull them apart. My kit here was manufactured back in July, which is a bigger lead time than Bandai usually has. You more commonly see kits going from molding to stores in under a month or even just a week, so my guess is that they produced a lot of these kits to make demand. The instructions are especially printed for this kit, and it clearly mentions that this is the clear version from the Ichiban Kuchi, so it's different from what we'll get in the retail kit later. The backside is for assembly instructions and legal text. And then the center foldout is info on Gundam and Gundam models for people that are new to the series, which they also did for the EG RX-78, and it makes a lot of sense for an introductory kit. The black and white side is all for assembly instructions, as you'd expect. About an hour later, we have to complete a Strike Gundam. It'll take you much less time if you're building without tools, but touch gates ironically make cleaning up the gates harder, so it can take some time. The construction of the joints and everything is once again very similar to 30 Minutes mission kits with the sandwich joints. But let's get right to the crazy good stuff here and talk about the colors. The head once again features that inset area around the eyes that uses shadow to color that black rim around the eyes. It's still a feature I admire a whole lot, though some builders don't like it very much because you do notice the groove if you look at it really closely, and it's not easy to fill in if you want to undo that trench. Next to the HGCE Strike Gundam, the HG Brothers' head is put to shame because while it does use red for that line on top of the face, it doesn't have yellow eyes. What's more, the EG kit manages to do the vents and the cannons in grey, which is EG just dunking on the HG kit. Oh, and the vents on the back of the head are grey too, just because they could. We do have to talk about the clear colors since they are unique to this kit. They're unoffensive, and Bandai in recent years have wised up, so kits like this have a mix of clear parts and non-clear parts, like the red and yellow, that work nicely as highlight colors. If everything is in clear, a kit looks really tacky, and for this kit here, it's only a little tacky. It's certainly easy to tolerate even if you don't like clear kits very much. If there were other choices, I don't think I'd be confident in saying that this clear kit adds a lot that's very compelling that you'll choose this over a normal one. But let's be real here, I don't think anyone is getting this kit for the clear parts as of right now, and I don't think most of you guys clicked in here to see the clear kit either. So the clear being clear is unobtrusive and unoffensive, and that's probably good enough for most people right here, I think. The HGCE kit hid almost all of its seams, and the entry grade kit does that as well. The rare spot that we can find for a comparison is right here on the back of the legs, with the white sections right here cut in half for both of the kits. The EG kit still manages a minor victory here with the gray part up here not having a seam. Okay, so maybe I was kind of cheating, because the HGCE kit has this seam on top of the torso here that it hides as a panel detail, while the entry grade kit just leaves it all exposed like this. And the ankles kind of give away that this kit does have an aggressively simplified build, but the designers did their best to disguise this ankle piece as mechanical detail. Sadly, this kit also has a really fragile ankle armor exactly like the HGCE does. And perhaps the most shocking thing that you may have already started to notice is that in terms of style, the entry grade kit is almost beat for beat the same as the HGCE kit. And I don't mean that they're casually similar. Every part that you can compare, from the ratio of the head, to the torso, to the length of the legs, to the width of everything relative to one another. Even the slope on the chest and the size of the feet are exactly the same. So we have a really bizarre case where two kits look exactly the same aesthetically, even though they're distinct model kits with different constructions. But the good news is, if you're really curious about this kit, you can pull out your HGCE kit to get a pretty good idea of what it's going to be like. That's a good chance to talk about the armored Schneider knives that we get on this kit, which makes this light package kit better than the RX-78, because this guy here, he isn't completely naked. These are taken straight from the HGCE kit. Now they're not remolded because they didn't just clone it straight from that old runner, so I'm guessing they reused the 3D models. They are exactly the same in all measurements and details. They go in the hand really well, and this is such a smart little addition because now we've met the baseline of the most basic loadout of the Strike Gundam that we really do see a number of times in the animation. So the light package variant isn't exactly crippled like the RX-78 was, because I really don't know what you're supposed to do with that without any weapons. And with this being such a stripped down kit, can we give it some weapons from the HGCE kit? Why, you sure can. Well, you know, since we already do know that this is basically a shadow double of that HGCE kit. The beam rifle fits on it like a glove thanks to the backplate on the hand this time being removable. The shield adapter fits into the hand, so the shield works as well, even though the opaque color clashes with this clear kit like crazy. If we follow the logic that this kit looks exactly the same as the HGCE kit, and it even reuses the knives from that kit, then I'm guessing that this is what the full box version of this kit is gonna look like, with just these exact same weapons. So if I'm correct, then you can very well just make your own homebrew box version of the EG Strike Gundam by donating a rifle and a shield to it. And this is perfect if you have a scrap HGCE kit just lying around. With this being a follow-up to the entry grade RX-78, it does have a number of improvements. The RX-78 had a big hole in the back of the hip so that it can mold the action-based hole into it, and the Strike Gundam no longer has that this time. These ugly 30-minute mission style gap under the elbow joint, that's covered up. And the hands? The RX-78 had a one-piece hand that required all of its weapons to have straight handles. The Strike gets proper hand covers because it forgot it was a budget kit. And most important of all, when I made my RX-78 video, this particular problem hadn't surfaced yet, where the ball joint on the waist of the legs on the RX-78 were far too tight, and that peg would just break off on a lot of kits, including mine. It's fixed this time on the Strike Gundam with just the right amount of friction, as far as I can tell. If that's still not enough, the RX-78's pivoting shoulder joints were very appreciated, especially on a budget kit, but swinging up isn't nearly as useful as swinging sideways, so of course the Strike Gundam has that, even though it doesn't really move a lot, but the HGCE was the same because of the big shoulders. So have I convinced you yet that there's really nothing about this kit that plays fair against other kits? It even kills its own entry grade older brother by addressing some of the biggest complaints against it. You really can't easily nitpick this kit like you could for the RX-78 and go, oh well, I guess in the end it's just an ultra budget kit. I mean really, this stupid thing goes so far to be the splitting image of the HGCE at under half the price. Well, minus the Aile Striker and all the weapons, and that is kind of a problem. But anyway, it even dares to have better color separation. Now that is a double-edged sword because it's also true that this isn't a distinct rendition of the Strike Gundam, whereas the RX-78 did have a distinct look that plenty of people really enjoyed. Sadly, that's not at all a thing with the Strike Gundam. But going back to the edgy side, this copycat Strike Gundam does have a unique advantage, especially for this light package version, sorta, where you can buy as many as you like and dress them up in all the striker packs that you want and have them all out on display at the same time. I don't know if that's a wish that anyone specifically had, but Bandai decided that it's the one that they would fulfill, but this does have some small problems and we're gonna get to that. At this point, the video gets spoiled a little bit because now we already know that it is completely compatible with the past striker packs because it's just like the HGCE kit. The gun barrel striker, A-OK. The Aile striker pack, no problem. So now you also know that the Perfect Strike parts work on this kit as well, but here's that problem I mentioned just now. By itself, the kit can't mount the rocket anchor because it doesn't have a shield adapter, and the one for the Perfect Strike Gundam only works with the classic Strike Gundam from 2002, so you need to steal the one that's from the HGCE kit to make it work. Of course, that means that this kit shoots itself in the foot because at that point, why not just put all this stuff onto the HGCE kit in the first place? So it works in principle with the Perfect Strike parts, but not unless you also buy the HGCE kit, which makes this entry grade kit pointless. You'll find the same problem with the Strike Rouge and the Gatling gun shield on that loadout. Sorry that I can't show you that because I don't have that kit. The lack of that one small adapter creates a bit of a logistical nightmare with some striker packs that seems like a stupid oversight on Bandai's part, because if they added that one little piece onto this kit, then this light package version would be so useful to many of us. So of course Bandai didn't do it, of course they didn't. And here I'll repeat a little something about the Perfect Strike parts that I talked about in the HGCE review. I know many people are quite miffed by how there's no HGCE Perfect Strike Gundam, but don't go typing that in the comments because there's really no need to. The truth is we've had it all along. You see, the Perfect Strike Gundam was the only new kit Bandai made in 2013 with the HD Remaster Seed line. Everything else was just recolored old kits from 2002 and 2003. The Sword Striker and the Launcher Striker and the backpack and really anything that makes the Perfect Strike Gundam were all new molds from 2013. That was just a year before 2014, which was when the renewed HGCE kit came out, so these Perfect Strike parts have far more in common with that newer kit than they ever did with the 2002 Classic Strike Gundam kit from over 11 years earlier. That is to say, don't dismiss these parts because in reality, they were made with basically the same technology and the style as the HGCE kit, and they really do belong together. So you can feel at peace with buying the Perfect Strike Gundam, whenever you do see it, and harvest these new parts and use them for the HGCE kit, or the entry grade kit. Onto the articulation, the head moves up quite a lot with the double ball jointed neck. It looks downwards this much. You can turn the head a full circle, but it is going to fight you quite a bit, so it may be better just not to do it. We've seen the shoulder and how it can swing a little bit. There is a ball joint here, but it really doesn't do that much. The arms swing around a full circle, and they swing outwards 90 degrees. The biceps allow a full rotation. The single jointed elbow tries its best, but not quite reaching the shoulder armor. The hands can be adjusted on their ball joint, and they can rotate around a full circle. The waist dips forward a little bit, and it dips backwards a little bit more. It can rotate a full circle if you use the ball joint to avoid hitting the waist armor. The front skirt flips up all the way until it hits the torso. The side skirts swing up only a little bit. The EG style ball joint allows the kick outwards exactly equal to the HGCE kit. The thighs allow the legs to rotate along a peg. The legs kick up 90 degrees, but then they get jammed by the front skirts unfortunately. And they kick backwards this much. The knees give a bend close to 180 degrees, and check out how they've perfected the matching geometry of the lower legs with the cutaways of the back of the thigh. Now this was a design on the HGCE kit as well, but those two parts never fit together quite this nicely. The ankle armor is on a ball joint, but be really careful when you adjust it because this piece is quite thin. The ankle swings forward and it works with the foot to give a really big turn upwards even if it looks kinda strange. The backward swing relies entirely on the ankle. The feet swing side to side as far as the armor will allow. I think the one big blemish to the articulation is how the thighs run into the front skirt and the kick forward is blocked by it, because both parts are capable so much better. Nonetheless, I think this kit will do any pose that you're gonna need for a Strike Gundam. Now, there are not a lot of poses that you'll want to do this because it only has the knives. So by itself, this kit can move really nicely, but it doesn't know what to do with all that great engineering. For size comparisons, let's bring back in the lower end benchmark, the entry grade RX-78. And here's the upper end benchmark, the high grade New Gundam. No real surprises here, the Strike Gundam is exactly as tall as the RX-78, and they are in turn way shorter than our resident tall boy, the New Gundam. Without the Aile Striker, the Strike Gundam looks very minimal next to other fully armed mobile suits, so by itself, this kit is going to look a little under-equipped with your other kits on a shelf. And here are the 3 Strike Gundams together for one more side-by-side, which really singles out the classic Strike Gundam from 2002 with the bigger feet and the much softer edges. With all that said, here's a Hobby Clubhouse 3-point verdict on the Bandai Entry Grade 1144 Strike Gundam Solid Clear version. Number 1. It's a worthy follow-up to a masterpiece. Everyone wanted to experience the Entry Grade RX-78 because of the incredible ingenuity that went to making it beautiful, posable, and affordable all at the same time. It's a tough act to follow, but the Strike Gundam matches it blow for blow and even improves upon many of the imperfections the second time around. Now, it's easy to see a lot of this kit being it's just like the RX-78 and then not giving it proper credit, but we really should. And this is a really good entry grade style kit that's made with a lot of care and a lot of love by the designers. The Strike Gundam was many people's first Gundam, so it is fitting that it joins the RX-78 as the 2 unique kits that are tailor-made to welcome new fans to the hobby. And number 2, it's a doppelganger to the HGCE kit. Depending on your hopes and expectations for this kit, this could be a good or a bad thing. The HGCE kit is beautiful, but it doesn't necessarily mean that anyone ever asks for or wants a clone of it in this form, so it does land in a very awkward spot among model fans. I'm sure many people don't need it to look necessarily better, but ought to have its own character and be its own thing. But I'm not sure how to feel about this really, because this is the first time I've ever encountered such a strange situation where 2 entirely distinct kits look exactly the same on the outside. And do give your opinion on this strange issue and what you think about it. And number 3, it's still a victim to scumbag marketing. Just like the RX-78 before it, it's honestly stupid that you can watch this review 2 months ahead of ever possibly getting one of these kits for yourself, while Bandai's gonna use this whole period to fleece all it can out of people's curiosity for the second really magical kit. This is nothing but a feeding frenzy for the scalpers, you know, those bad people that Bandai claims it wants to combat. I will maintain that exact same conclusion as the first time, and I hope that you wait for a proper retail kit at normal prices. This kit is amazing and is very well worth your love, but don't let that get misused and to take money from you, and that includes Bandai themselves in this case. What the hell, Bandai? So that's a review for the Entry Grade Strike Gundam. It ended on a bit of a downer, but only because I really wish you could go out right now and buy one and enjoy all of what's here. I'm getting a bit of a deja vu here. Thank you so much for watching. Come look us up on social media with updates on upcoming videos and sneak peeks at future projects. Links are in the description below. Or hang out here some more with one of these other 2 Strike Gundam reviews. But before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to be notified of new videos from Hobby Clubhouse, and I'll see you next time.